Good Erev Shabbos, everyone. Erev Shabbos, Parshas Noach. Every step in Parshas Noach, every step in the book of Bereshis is really a fundamental trend-setting, um, idea-setting, value-setting event. If they ask in every one of them why they're there, what really they're meant to be teaching us, what the real purpose of them are. And the story of the Migdal Bavel, you have to wonder exactly why is that in the Torah, because if you're teaching me about the fact that you shouldn't be fighting against God, so then we sort of know that from a lot of other places. We really need a story about a bunch of guys that failed in trying to fight against God. So why exactly is this story in the Torah? What's the import of the lesson and the message of Migdal Bavel? You know, when God created us in last week's parasha, it says that Nasa Adam B'Tzamenu Kidmusenu, that man will be made in our likeness and our image. And he consults with the angels, and together they make men. We grapple with, and we have always grappled with, what exactly does it mean that Kidmusenu and B'Tzamenu Kidmusenu, that in God's likeness and His image. And there are a lot of explanations. We talk about free will. We talk about bechira. We talk about a lot of things. One of the very beautiful explanations is that what it means is that Hashem's midos is His likeness and His image, which means that we are made up of all of God's midos, and that we have all of those potentials inside of us and all of those midos. And if we want to understand who we are and what we're meant to be doing and what our potentials are and what we could be achieving, so then study God, understand who God is, understand what God is, understand Hashem Kerachum V'Chanun, and then we can understand what potentials we have. One of those midos that Hashem has is the concept of ratzon, that Hashem has a ratzon. He has a will and a desire. And He brings things about into fruition through His ratzon, through His desire, which means that we have that ability also. That we could be gozer, we could have a ratzon, we could have a desire for something, we could set our sights on something, and we could accomplish that. We can make that happen. God creates a reality because of His ratzon, because of His desire. We have that ability also to be able to create a reality. You know, it's very interesting. We know that there is a concept in the Torah called Edim Zomen. Edim Zomen means false witnesses. Two guys come into court and they say they saw a murder happen. And two other witnesses come into court and say, you could not have seen the murder. It might have happened, but you couldn't have seen it because you were in Chicago on that day with us, and therefore you could not have witnessed this thing from happening. Those first two witnesses that tried to kill the defendant, they are called Edim Zomamin. The Torah tells us Va'asisem lo kasher zomam lasos lechav, that you do to them that which they tried to do to their brother. They tried to get him killed, and therefore they themselves are put to death. You have to wonder why that's true. They didn't do anything. It's Asisem lo kasher zomam. The whole law of the Torah is that you do to them that which they attempted to do to somebody else, but they didn't do it. They didn't put the person to death. They wanted to put him to death, but they didn't put him to death. They weren't successful. They were found to be Edim Zomen, so the defendant was never tried. Why would they be put to death? So one of the commentaries explains that because they had a ratzon, they had a desire to kill somebody, to kill this defendant. And that ratzon created a reality. The reality was that now there was death brought to the world. Someone was going to die. It was either going to be the defendant or it was going to be the witnesses. But because of that ratzon, because of that desire, someone is going down. That's what ratzon does. To will something, to desire something, to want something. That creates a reality that allows us to accomplish and to merit so many things in our life. But then comes, of course, the $1 million question. Why don't we get everything we desire? Person dies without fulfilling most of the things, without getting most of the things that they desire. Why is it that we try so hard? We have such a great ratzon on things, but we are unsuccessful. It's not my question. It's a question that the Panovich Rav asked the Chavetz Chaim. And the Chavetz Chaim said, it's pashut. You know why we don't fulfill all of our desires? Because we don't necessarily have real desires. Because we don't have a laser focus. We might want things to happen. We don't have a rutzon. We don't have a deep drive and desire to make them happen. We don't have a focus that says, this is all that I'm about. This is everything that I am focused on. This is all that I want. That this is all what I'm about. This is everything. We don't have that. And if we had that kind of desire, then we could have everything that we wanted. Because that kind of ratzon, that kind of will creates realities. We want things. We want X, but we also want Y. So we split our focus. We have dual ratzons. We have contradictory ratzons. I want to be this, but I also want to be that. And that's why we don't accomplish half of the things we set out to do, because it's not a real ratzon. You know why Mikal Bavel is in the Torah? The story of the Tower of Bavel? It's not to tell me don't fight against God. But you know what would have happened if God never got involved? They would have built this tower. And they would have kept building this tower. And they would have kept building this tower. Because they were so focused and determined to make this happen that nothing would have stopped them if it weren't for God's intervention. And that from them we understand what laser focus can accomplish. What a real ratzon for something, albeit something bad, something terrible, but nevertheless a total ratzon, a total focus, a complete and total engagement in their desires and dreams. It can bring about tremendous success. It only stopped because God stopped it. That's one of the messages. That when you have that kind of focus, if you train that focus for good, you can accomplish incredible things and create the most stunning reality for ourselves. What a beautiful message. What an encouraging message. To know that that which stands between me and success is my ratzon, my real desire and will. And that if you will it with all of your essence and energy, so then that reality will be created. And the brachos that we will receive, the success of our lives, will be something immeasurable and incredible. Have a beautiful, awesome, and amazing Shabbos.